Welcome to the Courage Barbell Unlimited podcast with your host, legendary powerlifter and strength athlete, Chad Ikes. For most, the journey of strength starts in the gym, but should inevitably expand through all aspects of life. Join us as we discuss all things strength. Now, here's your host, Chad Ikes.
Hey guys, we're back today with another awesome guest. I never know what to say because I'm so excited to see anybody that comes on here. I'm excited to talk to him. So we're here with Anne Sheehan. She's a IFBB bodybuilder and a powerlifter and just had a stellar career. And she's a fellow elite FTS member. I think we actually met. I think we first met at like one of the Learn the Trains or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I think it was one. It's actually the one where Julia and Christian got engaged.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That was a while ago now.
I think it was 2016 or 17.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with your bodybuilding career. When did you start in bodybuilding, and like what's the title you're proudest of or something like that?
Well, so I started competing June of 2000.
Okay.
And the last time I was on stage was not quite 2 years ago. I think I totaled. I was counting them down for somebody else, and it was 27 shows.
Wow, that's a lot of dieting.
Yes. and as far as so the first 16 years were really kind of screwed up because I was a really bad drunk. So I drank my carbs. So I don't know if you remember hearing that story or not. Yeah.
I love how people go, well, here's the diet, but here's what I want. So I'm going to stick to my diet. I'm just going to modify what my macros, where they come from.
You know, it's actually really screwed up, but like you kind of can get away with that a little bit. Like you have to make sure that whatever that cheat is, it stays consistent, right? Mm-hmm. Because everything else is going to go away around that cheat. You can make it work.
I remember, I think Dave did one with, I think when Harris was doing his diet, and Dave's like, dude, I'm not stopping Diet Pepsi. So he like modified his diet to fit it in.
Absolutely. You know, I've had, and dieting for so long as an alcoholic, I can't honestly tell you that I haven't had clients that I knew were also alcoholic, and I knew they were going to drink. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I could work around it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that kind of goes back to, I love the science of lifting and everything, because to me the solid science is pretty blurry. Because I can find studies of damn near every different way. I know 20 of the strongest people in the world that all use different training programs. So if there was one perfect program, there would only be one program.
Yep.
But I was reading some nutritional stuff the other day, and I went back to some old stuff with like Mike Mentzer, and then I found a college professor who actually did a study too, where he goes, listen, if you want to lose weight, paramount, it's about calories. It's about being in a deficit.
Yep, absolutely.
So the professor was eating ding dongs and ho-hos and all this other crap, but he was still eating some vegetables and his food. And he's like, I lost 40 pounds eating shit. So don't tell me you have to eat like this perfect thing.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, you can cardio it off. There's a lot. There's so many ways you can manipulate the body. Mm-hmm. And it adapts to everything anyway. So you kind of end up finding that you might have to cheat.
Right.
Just to get things going again. Like it's, you know, and everybody's different. Every prep is different. Mm-hmm. Every diet is different. But so
I say that a lot. People are like, we may all basically be the same, but we're all very different. And even we change throughout life. Like what I did at 20 isn't going to work at 40, isn't going to work at 60. What I did to bench 400 pounds isn't what I was doing to bench 800 pounds.
You know, every 7 years, your cells change. So literally within 7 years, there is nothing on you that is the same.
So you're basically a different person.
Absolutely.
Essentially. Yeah. So now all your physiology and everything is different than what it was.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So it took me 16 years, 16 pro qualifiers, probably even more, before I finally turned pro. I turned pro at Masters. I earned 2 pro cards at that show. And it was also my 90th day sober.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big day for you.
Yeah, right? So 90 days without booze, bam, 2 pro cards.
Interesting.
So, I mean, while it was working, was it really working? And probably not.
So when did you, so you didn't start bodybuilding till you were?
I was older. I was 27-ish.
That's interesting. That's when I started powerlifting. So when did you start lifting and why did you start lifting?
I was 8, and that's a really good question.
You were 8? Okay, I started my freshman year of high school. I thought that was impressive. You were 8.
By my freshman year of high school, I was benching double my body weight.
Really?
I only weighed 80 pounds, but for
Still
14,
though.
yeah. So I grew up with boys, and I had 2 older brothers, 2 cousins. My older brothers are 9 and 6 years older than me. So they had, and they were very athletic, and they were already working out. So we had a home gym, like a Sears.
Yeah. Did you have the plastic concrete plates? Yeah. Those are so awesome.
And then you don't know how much it weighs, right? Because it's like it's falling out onto the floor of the stand. But that's what I started on. So when they weren't home, I would go in and I would train. Whatever. I would do the same things that I saw them doing,
mm-hmm.
and then I'd put everything back the same. So when they came home, I didn't get the shit kicked out of me. But all around the gym, they had pictures of male bodybuilders, lifters, wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that girls could have muscle. And then I saw a female bodybuilder.
Who do you remember who the first one you saw was?
I wish to God I knew who she was. It was in New Jersey. She had big black curly hair. She had a cutoff sweatshirt that was like, her abs, with big puffy socks and
So this is like Corey Everson, Rachel McLish, that kind of era.
And I'm this little girl staring her up and down, thinking she could beat up my brother, right? Like she could take him. She could definitely take him. And I was like, I need to do that. And then I saw Rocky, like the same year. I literally started drinking raw eggs.
Oh, you can drink raw eggs?
Well, back then I did. Now I got IBS. I can't do anything.
I can't do it because I got a gag reflex. It's like sucking down a big bunch of snot.
That it is, but that is how badly I wanted to be strong,
mm-hmm.
and I wanted to kick some fucking ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's how badly I wanted it. And then I played sports. I played soccer, basketball, and volleyball. And then I had heart surgery when I was 14. So that took me out of sports.
Why did you have heart surgery?
I was born with an extra artery. And my heart was working overtime. So I was having palpitations, starting to pass out. So my heart was working really hard.
So it was like trying to pump even more blood than it needed to, kind of?
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. So after that, the cardiologist wouldn't let me play sports, but he let me do cheerleading because he didn't think that was.
Oh, yeah, because that's not athletic.
He had no idea how hard. Yeah. So actually, I did cheerleading even for a couple of years. I even did competitions, which was a lot of fun. And then, I had my daughter right after high school. And when I was 27, that's my mom actually took me to who hates bodybuilding, by the way. Family can't stand it. Took me to a bodybuilding show. Was like, I think you'd probably be good at this. And I was like, hell yeah, I'd be good at this, And,
so were you still lifting and training the whole time?
Yeah. Yeah. I was. I never stopped. If I stop, I might stop for a couple months here and there. Because something terrible has happened.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip around here because we have so many things in common. You were 8 when you first started lifting. I was a freshman, whatever that is, 13, 14.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things for me when I lifted, because I'll have had, however you want to say it, anger issues. Runs in my family. All the men in my family have anger issues. Like the first time I really got in and did a training session, and afterwards I was like, oh my God, I feel great. Like this just totally mellowed. And I found out quickly, dude, if I'm angry, I'm going to go bench press to like flatten myself. And all of a sudden I'm going to be happy and feel good.
Yes.
And like, I think that was, for me, that was, yes, I still love lifting, but I think it was a way to help control myself that I maybe didn't fully put together, but I knew it felt good. And I knew it felt better than being pissed.
That's sensory processing.
Mm-hmm.
You are in a sensory overload, and your central nervous system required that load, that attack, in order just to calm the fuck down.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yes, we could definitely go all over the place on tangents. So 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with neurodivergency. So I'm on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And I've been making a lot of associations between lifting, body tempering, which you've probably seen that I do, which is just compression. But body tempering and lifting are both crazy. They're loads, right? They're both they both compress the central nervous system. People that are neurodivergent need that to regulate us.
That's super interesting because I love how things pop into my head. I worked with autistic kids when I was younger, and I had a teacher that adopted 3 autistic kids. And I remember one of the things, I used to babysit her kids all the time. One of the things we would do is like, she would literally sit on them.
Yes.
And it would just calm them right down. And I remember the pressure thing, but even learning tempering, even learning body, I never put that together that, oh yeah.
So,
and even, what tempering, basically, if you have like a hypertonal muscle or whatever you want to say, you put pressure on it and it'll relax.
It relaxes.
So it's the same thing. Why wouldn't that affect your central nervous system exactly the same way?
It does. So I'll even have my husband put the rollers on me. He'll go grill dinner, go play a video game, whatever. I'll take a nap with 200 pounds of rollers on me, because for me it's calming.
Right. That totally makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that, I got into tempering because actually he was injured. My husband was injured, and I went to Swiss. And I was just learning everything. And that's where I saw Donnie, and I was like, fuck it, lay down. I'm going to push these things, I'm going to roll these medicine balls and kettlebells. I'm just going to start pushing them on you, And it worked. He had 3 bulging discs. And whatever I was doing, he had atrophied. And it had come back. It was coming back. So that's when I was like, this shit freaking works. I don't know why, but then I started to, so I've been doing body tempering now since then. So it's been 5 years. So that's, and just like being in the body tempering community, we're all kind of a little, I don't know. We all have a thing for compression. I think we all might be a little off on the neuro area.
Let's face it, anyone that does the stuff that we do and competes like we do, we're all a little off.
Yes. And I think isn't that something worth talking about?
Oh, I think it is, because first of all,
right?
I normal people bore the crap out of me. Like, I like people that are a little off. I want to meet different people. I was up at Kabuki, and my turned out to be a friend now. Ron was he was doing some of the filming. So they filmed some stuff with me, and we ended up talking afterwards. And he's like, this great concert pianist. I don't know shit about concert pianist. I don't even like concert pianist. But the fact that he did something that was so off the norm, I was fascinated. And I'd talk to him for hours about it, because I'm like, dude, that's just different. That's fuck normal people. I want people that go, no, this is who I am, and embrace it and go for it. That's fascinating to me.
I met a woman not that long ago, and she was 57 years old, and she was like, "Do you want advice from somebody that has no idea what they're doing?" And I was like, "Yes," because people who think they know what they're doing are the ones that scare me, because they're the ones that I know are full of shit. So if you know that you know, if you know that you don't know what you're doing, I trust you.
I do. I think there's something. I'm fascinated with the strength training world, especially right now, because I'm going down some rabbit holes, and I train people very off the norm. And I've actually been quoted on saying that, like, just because everyone does it doesn't make it right. Like, human beings do a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
So I think I'm amazed at the people I know. And there's people that I respect training wise. I mean, they're very smart people. But I'm like, they're so confident that their way is the best way. And I go, I got the accolades. Like, I've done some pretty amazing stuff in powerlifting. I put up some huge numbers. I've been one of the best in the world. I still go, man, I need to learn more. Man, I don't know. Like, I think this is going to work, and this makes a lot of sense to me. But at the same time, I know there's other guys that did different stuff.
Absolutely.
So I'm confident when I talk, because I've done and thought a lot about what I talk about. Like, I think I won't, if my mouth opens, I've thought about what I'm talking about. But at the same time, and people sometimes mix this up with me, because I guess I scare people or something. I don't know, like, I'm aggressive. And at the same time, I'm talking about what I know, and like, here, no, this is what you need to do. At the same time, I know that there might be something else that's better, or there may be something else that works just the same, or maybe I'm off completely. Maybe with this person, this won't work at all. So I know I may seem like I have all this great confidence, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense to me. But at the same time, I know that, how could I know everything? I can't know everything. I can't know for sure that everything's going to work.
But your experience gives you, because of all the years of experience that you have, and probably because of all the shit that you've done that didn't work, you know a lot of what does.
Yeah.
Your guess is educated and probably pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it still amazes me with these people that are so confident.
And they have no experience.
Yeah.
They are just believing their own bullshit.
But then people follow them. Like, you see people on,
it's
like,
rampant.
There's people I know on Instagram, and I'm like, dude, he's got like I think I have less than 5,000 followers probably. And I see all these other people on there that have hundreds of thousands or millions, and I'm like, these people have no idea what they're talking about, but people follow them.
First of all, most of them bought them.
That's true too, yeah.
So I can honestly say I have not bought any of mine, any of my followers, that is. But even when I post, the most amount of likes I usually get is like, what? I mean, I guess it depends on what I post. If I post bodybuilding, it's kind of interesting. I might get 500 likes. Now, I have close to 30,000 followers. Why am I only getting 500 likes?
Yeah, that is weird, huh?
Now take a look at the people who have 100,000 followers. They don't have any more likes.
I never looked at that, but that's true. Yeah.
They bought bots. Is what those are. They bought bots.
Yeah. So again, social media doesn't mean shit.
No.
And I see that too. I see that with, we're going off on another tangent, but like, I see people and I'm like, holy dude, does this dude train every day? Like, why am I seeing videos every single day of him lifting heavy? And they're not doing that. But how many people watch that and think that?
I know. I'll be honest with you. My videos are usually like a week or two late.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to keep up and post them like after you do them.
So that the training that you see was probably who knows.
You're scrolling through your phone thing and you're like, oh shit, I don't think I posted this one. I'm gonna post it. It could be 6 months ago.
All the time. If I actually did the things that you're supposed to do, I would probably actually be successful. But it's I don't know. People probably, It's funny because I meet people a lot and they actually really think I do have my shit together. And I'm like, no.
I don't know that any of us really have our shit together though.
I don't, that goes back to like, when people say that they do or they pretend that they do, I know I can't trust you because none of us do.
Yeah,
We're
none of
all
us do.
winging it. We're all fucking winging it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, the people that walk around with that confidence, like you're talking about, if that's what you want to call it, or that arrogance.
Yeah, arrogance is probably a better word.
You're holding yourself back.
Mm-hmm.
One, people aren't going to want to show you anything then, because you already think you know everything.
Well, that was one of the things when I started talking about depression, and when I did my first post on what I was going through, I was absolutely dumbfounded at the people that called me up. People that I thought, like, this person will have no idea what I'm talking about. And they call me up and start telling me their story. And I'm like, no, really? Like, I had no idea. And that was the biggest thing that kept me talking about it. Is I'm like, there's people out there, everybody puts up this persona. They're afraid to just go, listen, I get my feelings hurt. Listen, I go through depression. Like, yeah, I may not act like it, but what you said hurt my fucking feelings.
Yeah.
Like, everybody tries to put up this tough front, and my take is like, if you're so fucking tough, why can't you say how you feel?
Yeah. Or why can't you even come to terms with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And then and then the other thing too is that it impacts your training. It impacts everything.
I think that's a big thing I've been looking at recently is, and I've always heard people talk about how men are really good at compartmentalizing. Women are every bit as good at it. And like, that's one of the things I've been thinking about in terms of training. I think people are thinking too compartmentalized and they're not thinking in terms of the whole system.
Yeah, I could agree with that. You know, there are exercises that I feel are absolutely important and have to be done. And I have it in my head that it's got to be done within a certain amount of time frame. Mm-hmm. Because so I can get back to doing it again, right? So, like, for example, training 4 times a week, I can't do it anymore. If I do, I get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Sick and or injured.
See, now you're going up my alley right there.
Yeah, I and every time I try, no, it's gotta fucking be 4 days. I end up on my ass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bodybuilding, I did 6 shows in a row. Was that really smart, intelligent, or no? It wasn't. I dieted for 24 months straight. By the end, I was diagnosed with cancer and told I had had a heart attack and needed to go to the ICU.
Wow.
Neither of those things happened, but I was so run down. I actually had exposure to black mold at the same time that I was run down. Mm-hmm. So it actually it looked like I had bone marrow cancer. And I couldn't walk. My legs stopped working. I was getting around on an office chair with wheels. I had to be hooked up to phlebectomies where they drain your blood. And next up was chemotherapy.
Wow.
I was doing 700 miles every 12 weeks on soft sand and beach. That was my cardio. That was my steady state cardio. And I actually trained conjugates straight through my bodybuilding prep and then went and did a meet 6 weeks after my last show.
That's unbelievable.
It's stupid.
It's stupid.
So now I have bone spurs in my feet that will never go away. I have IBS. I have diverticulitis. I mean, I don't know how my marriage. Do you
think that? And this is probably an impossible question to answer, but do you think that you breaking your system down that bad caused some of those things?
It did. Absolutely. And I was completely out of my mind. I actually talked to JM about it, like towards the end of the prep.
I love
Yeah,
Jan.
yeah, actually, it was right. You know what? I was gonna see him because I went to. Remember, I think were you there for John's funeral, for John Meadows'
Yeah,
funeral?
no, I
Okay.
didn't make that one.
All right. Okay. So I literally competed to. I saw John at my last show, which was 2 weeks before that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke to JM about it, just about the prep itself. And he was like, "Were you driving?" Yeah. I had 2 accidents the last month.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, so this is
I was out of my mind. I was out of my mind. I wasn't sleeping at all. 4 hours, if that. I was working. I was literally going. I started doing 12-hour schedules.
mm-hmm.
I would sleep for 2 hours, get up, have coffee, cardio, train, start over.
Okay,
I
this
would
is
kill myself.
my brain's rushing with thoughts right now. You're verifying everything I've been working on the last year.
And I just did it again with this last prep.
So I had this thought. Okay, people don't want to listen to me. I think because my thoughts, I'm far off the beaten path. I've said for years and years, overtraining screws your sleep up. Screwing your sleep up can cause depression. Once you're in a depressive state, you are not making educated, intelligent decisions anymore. So you've pushed yourself to a limit where you need good, intelligent, educated thoughts, but you don't have the brain capacity anymore to make those. So what do? You keep justifying what you want to think, and you keep pushing more and more and more.
And it's another bad decision after the next.
One of my questions, and I'm going to ask you this question right now. If you could be as strong or stronger, training way less times per week, would you do that?
No.
That's the answer I keep getting.
No. I wanted to. My husband asked me. He said, "Are you going to go till you drop?" And I screamed. I was so angry. Yes. Get the fuck out of my way before I kill you. I was having seizures on the beach. My beach people, people say they seem there's a crazy bodybuilder lady, fuck, she fell and she's down again. Let's go get her.
So that's a really fascinating concept to me. And I tell people all the time, one of the reasons I was able to reach the level I did in powerlifting is because early on, I was running regular conjugate. So I'm a West Side conjugate. So I'm training 4 heavy sessions a week. Everybody on my team, every 4th week, everybody in my team went to shit. Then we'd have to take a couple weeks off. Then we'd go and do great again. Then we'd go to shit. And finally I called Dave up and I ended up having this discussion with Dave. And basically Dave goes, listen, you can be one of the best in the world or you can train to deal with all your other shit, but you can't do both. And that was one of the biggest fucking smacks in the face I ever got. And I tried to argue it. I tried to argue with Dave Tate of all people. I'm like, Dave, you don't understand. If I'm not in the gym, I'll kill somebody. If I'm not in the gym, I'm going to go berserk. Like, you don't understand, Dave. And it's like, Dave totally gets that.
Of course he understands.
But he's like, I don't give a shit. Do you want to be the best in the world or do you not? You can't talk around this. This is the way it is. And that was the hardest thing I ever did in powerlifting. It wasn't the crazy training sessions. It wasn't mentally preparing to squat 1,200 pounds. None of that. The hardest thing I ever did was backing off of training and not training every day.
Yeah. Well, then I feel like, the self-deprecating thoughts from missing. So I was just sick. I told you I had a really bad sickness about a month ago. And even now, like I want to, You know what I want to do.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know what I. So I have to really talk myself off a cliff, and then I do, and then it gets dark, and now, all right, so now we hit. If I'm not at the gym by 8 o'clock, I'm not going.
Mm-hmm.
So then I know. So now it's 8 o'clock, 8:30, and I know I have officially skipped that session. It will eat away at me. It will affect my sleep. It will the next day. I'm quiet.
Okay,
Down.
so here's a question then. So you know you're overtraining.
Yes.
You know you're beating yourself up.
Absolutely.
You know that that's causing mental issues. It's causing digestive issues. It's causing
Physical pain.
all these other symptoms. You know it's not helping you actually achieve what you say your goal is. Why do you look at going to the gym and doing that as being strong when you don't look at making yourself take that time off as being strong?
Because I'm addicted. Same reason why I didn't stop drinking, even though every single morning I would wake up and I think I was going to die. My blood pressure was 220 over 190.
You're not even that big a girl. Like, that's the kind of blood pressure of a dude who weighs 500 pounds.
Yeah. And I was in jail again. Till my last day of drinking. They took my blood pressure and they were like, go back to your cell and die.
So I think that's an interesting thing about lifting, is that there's that addictive personality that draws us to it. And I think in the beginning, like I literally would squat in my basement until I knew I was done when I tried to walk up the stairs and my legs would collapse. If I could get up to the top of the stairs, I'd go back down and squat again.
Or vomit.
Yeah, I didn't miss. If I missed training, I had to have been deathly sick, and then I was going to do 2 sessions the next day to make up for it. Like, I trained like an idiot. But I do think that helped later on when I did get into powerlifting, because I think it gave me great tendon strength. It gave me great ligament strength. And I just had that ability to push to no end. Like, I could just keep pushing. So I think it did help. But if I wouldn't have controlled that, I would have been an 800-pound squatter, not a 1,200-pound squatter. Like, there's no way I would have got to 1,200 pounds.
Do you think also, since we trained like idiots in the past, it's like that training is done now? So that's the other reason why when I keep trying to do it now, like I already did it, my body doesn't want that anymore.
No, your body doesn't want it anymore. This is my theory. Your body doesn't want it anymore because you have now this is in life. I don't think life's fair.
It's not.
I know really good people that end up poor and broke and a lot of shit happens to them. I know horrible people that end up rich as hell. Like, I don't think there's any fairness in life. For me, in the gym, that life is fair. If you train intelligently and you train smart, you will be successful. Maybe you don't have the genetics to be the best in the world, but you will make gains. So it makes sense to me that if I trained my ass off and I dedicated myself to getting stronger or getting bigger, there's going to be a point where I've gotten so big and so strong that I don't have to train as much and I can still get stronger and bigger. And doesn't that make sense? Like, life is going, hey, dude, you worked your ass off. Mm-hmm. You sacrificed. Now you don't have to do that. Now you can go to some of those hobbies you like. You can spend more time on your relationship and you can still keep getting bigger and still keep getting stronger.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as our body can't handle it anymore. I see it as we have such good muscle control now. Our technique is good. We can recruit more muscle fiber. Like, we've trained our body to be so efficient that we can't do those long sessions anymore. We can't beat ourselves up like that. But that's a skill that we learned.
Yeah.
Like, I laugh. I would squat till I couldn't get up the stairs, and I thought I was such a badass.
Yeah.
That was nothing compared to what I can push myself to now. Like, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed too. So the other reason why I fell in love with the conjugate program is because you can pull things out and replace them with other things.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled out strength and I put in conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I pulled back out the conditioning and put back in the strength. So that's why I fell in love with it. And I felt like, so when I did my bodybuilding prep, honestly, the leaner I got, the less I had to weight train.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I had already done all the weight training
Mm-hmm.
because I powerlifted for 4 years before I went back on stage. So, I mean, I was doing it because because I'm whatever. But I didn't really need to. What I really needed to do was just cardio and pose.
Mm-hmm.
But it was almost like my body had already, I'd already done all that work.
Mm-hmm.
So what I needed to do in order to get where I wanted to go was entirely different than, what I had been doing. Because I had just done so much work before. And it's interesting too, because early on in my bodybuilding career, I actually followed Mike Metzner.
Mm-hmm.
And he trained once every 7 to 9 days.
He actually, when in his prime, he was training once every 3 to 4. So he
5 hours though, right?
No. He literally trained like 3 hours a week. That's it. And that was two to 3 sessions for a total of 3 hours a week. Literally, that's all he trained. But when he did train, it was totally to the limit.
Yes.
And this is what I'm going back to. I'm actually working on some of the stuff Arthur Jones did, and then Dorian Yates. Mm-hmm. And because I didn't really realize it, but a lot of my powerlifting, I kind of blended off of some of the stuff they were doing. And so I'm trying to modify that to an even different program, which I'm working on some of my clients now. And I'm seeing great results.
My first powerlifting meet, I've never been to a meet before. I didn't know it was going to be judged. I didn't know I had to wear a singlet. I didn't know there were calls.
Mm-hmm.
I knew nothing about powerlifting, and I broke 3 world records.
For one thing, I respect the fact that you went not knowing nothing and you were like, I'm doing this. So what? I don't care.
Well, I was like thinking, what do I have to lose, right?
Yeah.
I got nothing. I'm to jump off point. Meadows introduced me to Dave
mm-hmm.
the weekend that I told you about before. And he was the one, and it was funny because when I got there, I didn't know that. I thought we were at a gym. So I was like, where is everybody? Who are you? To Dave, like, who are you? And he was like, did you know you're a powerlifter? And I was like, fuck you. I'm a bodybuilder. He was like, no, you're a powerlifter. So that's what, But it was bodybuilding. And I was doing Meadows training. So obviously it was intense. So, I was going as heavy as I could. 4 reps, but he would still have me doing like 7 sets of 3, banded deadlift. It was. He definitely peppered in a lot of conjugate stuff, but it was bodybuilding that got me strong. The worst program, the only program that I ever did where I didn't get stronger was linear periodization from a powerlifting coach.
Mm-hmm. I hate linear periodization, but Ed Cohen did linear periodization his whole career. And I've actually talked to Ed about this because I love Ed. And he trusted his body, which when I have all these stories of top strongmen, bodybuilders, powerlifters who they're like, yeah, I didn't feel it, so I went home. I'm like, whoa, what? You mean you didn't train? Did you pick it up the next day? And they're like, no. And I'm like, I grew up blue collar Midwest. Like, if it's in the plan, you're fucking doing it, man.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't comprehend this, and it took me years and years and years to understand this. Where Ed was like, yeah, man, I felt a tweak in my back, so I didn't do it that day. And I go, but then what do you do the next week? And he's like, you just skip it and you go on to what the next week is. And I'm like, but, like, I couldn't comprehend it.
Yeah.
And now I can understand it. He just listened to his body. It didn't matter what was on that piece of paper. What mattered, what his body was telling him.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why he did well with linear periodization, because yes, this is my program, but he knew to override it with what his body felt.
Yeah.
And that's like my biggest premise right now is I want people to stop with the programs. Like, have a program, have an outline, but understand what your body does is more important.
Well, like what Buddy says,
program is.
right? Failing to plan is planning to fail, and things never go according to plan.
Yes.
So it's have the plan and have the wherewithal to know that there is a good chance you may have to change the plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the scary part of this is, and I'm going to tell you, I started training one of my buddy's wives. He's a really good bench presser. And I started training her for strength. And then she's almost 45. She's like, hey, you know what? I want to do one more figure show when I turn 45. And I go, all right, that's cool. I said, I could help you with your diet, but I'd rather have you go to somebody more knowledgeable. Like, my diet experience is making you strong. I go, but I can definitely do your training. And I've seen the shows that you've done, and I already know where your holes are. Like, I can fix all that. And, she's been trained by other IFBB pros and all that stuff. Within the first 4 weeks of her training with me, I had her training less than she's ever trained before. She put on more muscle. Within 4 weeks, she lost like 1.5 pounds, dropped her body fat 3%, and put on muscle. And so we laugh. Like, the reason, and I talk to my client, all the stuff I'm talking to you about, I talk to my clients about continually. So, like, when I do want to change something, they're like, yep, whatever, you've already convinced me, let's do it. So she was leery about training less. And so we're even laughing now because even I have a tendency to go, damn, she's doing really good. What if I started training her more? Even though I know it's working, don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
I have that intrinsic more is better attitude. And so we laugh at each other because she's like, God, I got bigger doing less. It doesn't even, it's like, it's logical and it makes sense.
Well, we go to the gym.
There's part of our brain that won't grasp it.
Yeah. No, I know this, and I know this too. We go to the gym to tear the tissues down. Mm-hmm. If we don't give them the time to rebuild, they don't. I know this.
Yeah. I've been, for years, I go, stop thinking you're getting stronger in the gym because you're not. And it's actually a 3-phase process. You go to the gym, you dig a hole, you tax your body, you deplete it of nutrients, of hormones, of all this shit. So first you got to recover from that.
Yeah.
Now, once you recover, now your body can actually go, hey, we do need to get stronger because this guy's going to keep putting us through this shit.
Yeah.
So you got to wait for that to happen, and that's not going to happen overnight.
And that recovery actually can take 3 days.
Yeah, just the recovery can take 3 days. Yeah. Then you have to grow. Then you have to give your body time to grow. If you go tax it again, it doesn't grow.
Yeah. No,
so it's like, these are simple concepts. Why is it so beat into our brain that we're like, what? I can't miss one session. If I miss one session, I'm going to lose all my gains. It's like, no, you're not. That's just stupid.
Do you think it's our generation too, though? Like, I mean, I'm older than you, but like...
Actually, I don't think you are. Are you older than me? I'm 51.
I'm 50.
So I'm older than you.
Yeah, you are. So we're from the same generation.
We're definitely from the same generation.
Yes, yeah. And I think that's, I mean, we were always told, work hard, you're going to get what you want.
Yeah.
Right? Work hard.
And if you're not getting it, work harder.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's like, I was telling somebody the other day, because it was, I think it was one of JM's. One of JM did a post, and I commented to his post. And somebody else commented, well, you've been training all this time. Didn't you train your body to recover faster? And I responded to it, and I'm like, if you keep cutting yourself, do you think your body's going to learn how to heal faster from a cut?
Right.
How many colds have you had in your life? It's $1 billion industry trying to help people get over a cold faster. You've had so many colds. Wouldn't you think you'd get over it faster now?
Right.
Like, your body can only recover. It only has so much. It can only work so fast. You can't change that. Like, you can do drugs. Drugs will help it.
Yep.
But even that doesn't make it completely.
Even that,
You
no,
still have to recover.
They're so overrated, and I'm not saying that I don't use them because I do, but they're still very overrated.
I completely 100% because I totaled 24. Was it 2470 before I went on anything? And then we found out I had low testosterone, and I'm like, well, screw it. Let me play around with it then. And
Yeah.
like my growth, me and Dave argue about that. Dave's like, you shot up. And I'm like, no, if you track my growth, it was pretty consistent. I go, I did feel better and I recovered a little better, but I don't think drugs are the answer. I think drugs, they're performance enhancing drugs. They can enhance if you use them correctly.
That, and if you're getting blood work done, if you're monitoring, you find out what your levels are.
Mm-hmm.
You fill in the gaps, right? And then you move on with your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that drugs do is it takes people that are overtrained, they start recovering a little faster, so then they start growing again. It's not the drug. It's just if you would have just backed off a little bit, you probably would have started growing too.
Fair enough.
I mean, how many people have asked you, how do I get my bench press up? I'm benching 5 times a week because 2 times a week didn't work.
Right.
And it's like, well, why didn't you drop to 1 time a week?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't work. Training less doesn't work. I'm experimenting with myself because I haven't competed in years. So I'm like, dude, whatever. It doesn't matter with me. I'm going to just experiment with whatever I want. And if I'm going to try stuff on my clients, I'm going to try it on me first.
Right.
I'm training once every 7 to 10 days. Every time I bench, my bench is going back up. And I feel better. My depression is better. My sleep's still fucked, but the weird part about my sleep too is, and I haven't even told anybody about this yet. I never get delta sleep or deep sleep. I started training once a week 7 weeks ago. And I'm starting to get deep sleep now. It's not very much, but when you usually get none, like 15 or 20 minutes of deep sleep is a big difference. So I'm like, this is all very interesting. And I'm backing my clients off too, nowhere near what I'm doing. Like I'm going to the extreme end of it. And if I was supposed to, like, Monday would have been a week for me. And I was like, man, I just feel like crap. Like I worked 13 hours on Sunday. I go, so I'm not training. I'll wait till I feel good so I can have a good training session. And it's a mental challenge. But to me, I don't think of being a badass or being tough in the way that everyone else does. Like, I think, what's the hardest possible thing for me to do? Can I do that? That makes me a badass. Not training all the time is one of the hardest things in the world for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're a real badass like you say you are, Chad, then you can fucking do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I mean, I can't even, when I started backing off for powerlifting, I did a lot of deep, dark self-reflection that was not easy and was not fun. Like I literally at one point, I started playing with my mind at first. So that's when I started doing recovery sessions, which are really lightweight, 20, 30 minutes. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to screw with my head because at least I'll be in the gym. So maybe I'll be able to deal with it. And then I found out they actually helped me recover better.
Yeah.
And they helped my GPP. And then, but it got to the point where it's like, Chad, you need to figure out why the hell you got to be in the gym every day. You need to figure out why the gym is how you deal with all your problems. You need to find another way. And that sent me down this rabbit hole of going through my childhood and seeing, why am I the way I am? What happened? Can I look at that and change and see that as an adult now and not as a child? Can I learn to control my emotions better? Can I learn to do all this other shit? And all that was way harder than any of my lifting.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's so much harder and so important.
But it's a system. And if I didn't solve that, I wasn't going to be able to handle training the way I needed to train. And here's another interesting one too. When I went back and started reading some of Arthur Jones and Mike Mentzer's stuff, I had read all that stuff when I was a kid. But when I was a kid, I wanted to hear about intensity. I read Mike Mentzer's stuff because I'm like, high intensity training. Oh, yeah. It was funny how I read all his stuff and completely glazed over anything that had to do with recovery.
Well, look at me. I'm like, I followed him, and I'm like, what are you talking about 7 to 10 days? I didn't go that long.
Yeah, that's it. And it's funny.
That's all I picked out.
It's funny because I've talked to my friends and they're like, I tried HIIT training, dude. I was training 6 days a week. I go, well, then it wasn't HIIT training.
No, I remember.
But it was.
I feel like I remember going like once and then taking like 3-4 days, but I never went 7-10.
Yeah.
It was longer than I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
go. And I didn't stick with his style very. I went from him to Dorian, which I think everybody does because Dorian followed him.
Yeah.
And then I did dog crap. Do you remember that? Have you ever heard it?
Yes.
Ever heard about that?
Yep.
Dog crap. That one was interesting. It was weird though because if you didn't beat yourself on the lift was taken away from you. And then there was like intense stretching involved. So after you train, you did like static stretching.
Yeah.
On whatever you train, which is fine.
Which was popular. Even Frank Zane used to preach that.
I think, my biggest growth, honestly, my fastest, biggest growth as far as hypertrophy and strength was definitely training with John. And like I said, like now that I know what conjugate is because Dave taught me and Nate Harvey.
Yeah.
I realized that I see the huge influence conjugate was on Meadows programming. Not to say that conjugate is the only way. I like conjugate because you can change it.
Well, I always like the first time I went to one of Dave's seminars, he explained conjugate, and I remember asking him afterwards. I'm like, Dave, I've read all this stuff from Louis. What you explained to me is really simple and to the point. I go, did I get it right? Am I misunderstanding something? And he's like, no, Louis just is really hard to understand. But my takeaway from it was, here's an outline.
Yes.
Here's principles to follow. Now bend it to what you need. And I thought, this is great. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. So, that's why I've been using it now for 6 years and coaching myself. Although I don't know that coaching myself has been the best thing for my,
See, now there's an interesting concept because I don't know if you ever listened to any of my table talks with Dave, but I had one with Dave where I went off on like online training and shit. And I do online training now because I found some new ways where I feel like I can do a good enough job. Mm-hmm. But I've always been thinking like, what is the role of the coach? Because like I can run people through programs. Programming is easy to me. Like it's not complicated. It's not hard. Like, and there's so many other factors that are so much more important. So I'm always trying to think, what is the job of a coach? And I almost think the job of a coach is I think it's a symbiotic relationship between the coach and the client or athlete, because the coach can never know the athlete as well as the athlete knows themselves, but the athlete has to learn how to know themselves. So it's almost like I think the coach's job is to be a guide for the athlete. To kind of pull out and get them to learn about themselves, and then take that stuff and go, hey, you're training again today. How are you feeling? How are you feeling mentally? What's happening with your sleep? Do you see what's going on here? And maybe you need some more recovery. Like the coach is the outside person looking in that's going to give you the truth.
Yeah.
Because I think like even with me, I've never actually had a coach. I've always coached myself. But I've spent a lot of time trying to learn myself, and I spent a lot of time being honest with myself. Like, because I know I'll lie to myself and justify it if I want it bad enough.
Oh, sure.
And it's taken me a long time to go, no, Chad, you're being a liar. You're being a lying bitch. And if you're such a badass, tell yourself the fucking truth and follow it. But that's something that's very hard to do. And if you can have a coach that can actually do that, it's a whole lot easier.
Or you're going to listen to.
Yeah, or that you're going to listen to.
Yeah. That's a problem. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, that's one of my problems is to have a coach now. I don't. Well, one, I don't think I really need one. I'm kind of grown up for that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I need help with my eating program, my training program, my recovery program, or something like that, I will enlist somebody, but I don't necessarily. So I need help with the program.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily need to be coached.
Right.
You know what I mean? The problems that I have
You need like
are
a
in here.
consigliere.
What's that?
You need a consigliere.
What's that?
You know, like in the mob, the main guy would have his consigliere guy who he would just bounce ideas off of, and like that guy kind of kept him
Yes.
honest. Like
Yes.
you just need
Yeah.
someone to go, are you really being truthful with yourself? Or are you
Yes.
doing what you need to do? Or are you telling
Yes.
yourself what you want to hear?
Yes. Absolutely. I think we all do.
Oh yeah, I think so. It's
honestly, when I was coming up, we didn't have coaches. We didn't have online.
yeah.
So we sure as shit didn't have online coaching. We had each other.
Mhm.
We held each other accountable. We saw each other at the fucking gym or at the show or probably at a meet.
Mhm.
And we said what we had to say and we did what we had to do. And I'll see you again at the next sesh or the next meet, or you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But we helped each other and we kept each other accountable and we showed each other things. Look, I just learned this from so-and-so. I got to show you, you know what I mean? So, I waited a very long time before I started doing online coaching. I was begged. Are you a coach? No, I'm not a coach. I did hair for 32 years. I'm retired.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I literally only coach people now because I love it.
Right.
And I'm particular about who I coach. I don't say yes to everybody.
Mhm.
I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm not going to tell you you're great if you're not. You know what I mean? So
all my clients that are listening right now are laughing.
I'll bet.
Because I'm the same way. I'm like, dude, I'm not counting your fucking reps. I'm not your babysitter. You want to cheat yourself, cheat yourself. I'm here to help you, not do that.
That is it.
So that's an interesting point, though. So like we kind of came up in the same time. And I don't think I haven't really had that many bodybuilders on. And you're a bodybuilder powerlifter. You're like a total crossover. But when I started bodybuilding. That was all the information I had was bodybuilding books and magazines. And I remember going to the grocery store with my mom just so I could read bodybuilding magazines when she was shopping. But I look back and I go, I think that was a really good thing for me because like I had a book which had a picture. Here's what the beginning of the lift looks like. Here's what the middle looks like. Here's what the end looks like. That's if I was lucky. Sometimes you'd only get 2 pictures. And then I had to go, well, what is this exercise for? It's for these muscles. Mm-hmm. So then I would perform it and then I go back and go, did I feel it in these muscles? No, I didn't. So maybe I did it wrong. So then I would change and I was really trying to feel the muscles.
The contraction.
And I think me starting off training more of a bodybuilding style was actually really good for me because I think it taught me a lot of proprioception and moving the body right. And it wasn't like nowadays I go to the gym and I see people doing movements and I'm like, dude, Mark Bell just posted a video of that. I'm going to go ask him what they're, and I'm like, hey, where'd you learn that? And they're like, oh, I saw Mark Bell doing it. I go, what does it work? They're like, I don't know. The exercise just looked cool. I go, well, how do you perform it? And they go, I don't know. I'm just mimicking the video. And it's like, so there's no thought and there's no mental connection.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's kind of do you kind of see it that way or?
Definitely. And I mean, like I even program for my, I don't actually even have any I don't have any clients that don't do both.
Mm-hmm.
They either do powerlifting or they do powerlifting and a physique sport. I program flex rests, not on a main exercise, obviously, but like on accessories while you're resting, go ahead and flex that muscle.
Mm-hmm. I've never done that, but that's actually, I think I actually like that.
Yeah.
To build that proprioception and that control and know how to, because like I get people in here sometimes and I'm like, dude, they can't even do scapular retraction. Like they don't know how to flex their rhomboids, mid and lower traps. Like they have no idea. Or I'll do scapular retraction and what do? They shrug their shoulders.
Yep.
And I'm like, how do you not like know how to move your body? Like I can't, what the hell happened that you don't know how to move your body?
I like flex rests and stretch rests. As long as it's not a heavy load, they can stretch in between.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So either one. Yep.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I've always thought that there's like, it's not bad to do, like, there's a big benefit to bodybuilding training.
Yes. I love bodybuilding. I love building the body. I love sculpting muscles.
Mm-hmm.
I love using blood, sweat, and tears as my art supplies.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like the sport anymore. I don't like the direction that it's gone. I don't want to be mainstream.
In terms of why?
Why don't I want to be mainstream?
No, I get that.
I don't like the other divisions that they created to try to make them blend in more with mainstream people.
Gotcha.
And they're just creating these divisions so that they have entry fees. It's all about money. I mean, and honestly, bodybuilding itself, in and of itself, is not a sport; it's a pageant.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going to be judged on something, I want it to be from the neck down.
Right.
And I think for women, the emphasis is way too much on the bling and all this shit like that.
Yeah.
That, when I competed, and as you know, back in the 80s and 90s, girls would slap a fucking ponytail on their head and jump on the stage. They weren't. That was not the focus. The focus was the body.
Which it should be. It's bodybuilding.
Yes. So, and then even as far as that's concerned, then what are we judging? It should be muscularity, conditioning, and symmetry. Again, it's the girl who's prettier, and and even in the men, I mean, there's a lot of gray area there. I just think that it's gone. They're trying to make a commercial, and I think it makes it weird.
I would agree. It's more about money, and even like, I mean, I have a couple friends, that are pros, and every one of them will say that if you piss off the wrong person, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like it's you got to play the game, and if you don't have the personality that they like, that they can sell, you're not going to win.
Right, and that's me, and I'm okay with it because I have my pro card, so I don't give a fuck anyway.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, for me, if I just get in shape, it boosts my business.
Yeah.
So I'm not going there. I'm not competing to win.
There's this what's this guy's name down in Vegas? Huge guy is huge. Goliath something on Instagram. Just like freaky huge. And I can't remember if it was somebody asked him one time why he doesn't compete. And he's like, why would I? Like, I don't need to step on that stage. He's like, I make tons of money through my social media and sponsors and everything. And he's like, I like getting in here. I like getting as big as I can. Why would I even bother with that?
Well, the girl, Margie Martin, who has won several championships, says the same. She's not competing anymore.
Yeah.
What the hell for? It costs us a lot of money. I can tell you what I paid for what it ends up costing me per show.
Which is crazy too. It shouldn't cost you. Like, the show should be paid for. It should be like, you're invited to come here on stage and we're going to pay your way.
There are shows where they do that, but it's few and far between. And like the person, whoever told you, like, if you piss off the wrong person, like, some people get paid for, some don't. I've placed top 5 twice and didn't get my check.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, powerlifting, when I was lifting in the WPO days, there's kind of starting to get some money and stuff. And I think it was having the same
thing that happens.
I think it was the same thing. Like, all the shit started going downhill.
As soon as you start doing that, like prizes, it's actually pretty funny. I've actually won more money powerlifting than I ever did bodybuilding. But when you start doing, and that honestly was because the promoters gave the money to the athletes.
Yes.
Bodybuilding, they don't do that. They don't do that. So,
that's crazy.
They definitely don't do that.
See, that's funny because in the Highland Games, guys can make a decent living.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I knew some guys that would teach, and then all summer they would travel and they would double their income traveling and
not competing.
No, competing. Yeah. Traveling and competing in Highland Games.
Like the prize money.
Yeah.
For placing is good.
Yeah.
Well, don't let them know. Don't tell them.
But I mean, I think the difference in that sport is it draws a lot from track and stuff. And it's like, dude, we don't care how you look. We're measuring how far that implement went.
And have you've been to a Highland Games event?
Yeah, I competed.
Oh, you all right? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. They're all fucking day, but
yes, they're all
the
day.
Community, everybody is so cool.
Yeah.
And so nice, and the competitors, like, they get out there with the crowd, and at least the one that I went to, they brought the kids in, they were teaching them how to. I mean,
that's where it's weird because they have money in it, and they manage somehow to stay pretty cool about it.
Yeah, and I mean, they take up a lot of territory
when
they have it, so I'm sure that has to cost.
Yeah.
You know, they're there for 13 hours minimum. We were there at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
and the light was in July or August, and the lights were on, and it was still going on.
I used to do Pleasanton was like nationals, and it was actually a 2-day event. I would throw for 2 days.
Wow. So the event that I went to is in Dublin, Ohio, and that whole park is for that event.
Yeah.
It's insane. It was absolutely magnificent, and it was great. It was cool because I'm Scottish. My grandfather was born in Scotland, so I'm hearing the accent. Whoever the commentator had the brogue.
Yeah,
it's a cool sport. I absolutely suck at it. I'm 5'2". I'm gonna stick to powerlifting. But I think it's a very cool sport, and I think it's great that they reward the athlete.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys that make money. I know some of the guys would go to Europe and over the summer and come back with a bunch of money.
Wow. Well, don't let them know. Like, don't let them find out. Because I can see it with powerlifting. Look at how big powerlifting's gotten just in the last couple years, in the last 2 years, 5 years, 6 years.
What's funny is it seems like it's gotten more people coming in it. But the camaraderie and the gyms, it seems like all that has gone down.
I agree.
So you have way more individuals. You have way more federations.
Yep.
It's not.
Yeah, I go to the gym sometimes, and it's like people are like, I'm on that. Not like we're squatting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come squat with us. I'm on that. You know what I mean? It sucks.
I've actually stopped. I train everyone out of my garage. So I have a full
my garage gym right now.
And I hate going to the gym anymore. I like going to my gym.
I need people to train with because when I squat, I need 3 spotters.
Yeah.
Especially if I squat heavy, I can't do that in here.
Well, it's hard too. I've been talking to with my online clients and stuff. Some of them have places they train. Some are trying to get groups and stuff, and it's like it seems like people have a hard time finding a decent team of people to train with anymore. And back in my day, man, there was teams all over. Every city had small teams here and there, and it seems like that the camaraderie, which is something that I always enjoyed. My partner would laugh because we'd be at the WPO or something, and he's like, "Dude, they talk about roid rage. What a bunch of bullshit." He goes, "Here's 20 of the biggest fuckers walking the planet, and they're all just laying around talking to each other and just bullshitting, and there's no anger at all."
No, and it's interesting that you said that because a lot of the mean people that I've come across, they're like the natty people.
Yes.
Right? It's not just
no, that's
me.
True. It's totally
they're
true.
Mean.
Yeah.
They're nasty.
Mm-hmm.
They're cruel. It's like Mean Girls. It's like high school.
Mm-hmm.
It's very bizarre to me.
That's where the powerlifting meets are not. It's not like it used to be.
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's changed a lot just since I've been doing it, and that's only since 2016.
I will say though, I went to the women's pro-am
in Cincinnati.
Yeah, totally different.
I've heard that meet is one of the best meets.
I'm like, those women make men look like bitches. They don't complain. They all help each other. They all cheer for each other. Like I go to some of the men's meets, you're like, this team gets mad at this team, or like, this bar sucks, or this bench is crap, or this warm up is this. Like the women are all just like, yeah, all right, this is what it is. Let's do it.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to do that meet next year. It's on my birthday too.
You should do it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the one that's on my radar. I'm actually doing the Olympia.
And I honestly think the future of powerlifting might be women.
Well, I agree with you. Because when we get together, we have a really great time. But even there, I would say that I've experienced the same thing, where other women that are like me, for lack of better words, whether it's crazy, whatever, I don't know, they're fun, but I get around these natty women and they're just fucking mean. And I'm saying it out loud. I don't get it. I don't know if they're jealous.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't understand it. I really don't.
It's interesting because I competed raw for more of my career. I was clean than I was on, but I never gave two shits. I'm like, it's my choice. It's their choice. Like I would do a couple raw meets or a couple clean meets a year because I was pissed because like the natural world records were crap, and I'm like, this is bullshit. You guys are using this as an excuse not to be good. I go, so I'm going to fuck all your records up and fucking make them legit. And then I didn't have anybody to compete with. So even when I was clean, I would do non-tested meets because I'm like, I don't give a shit. These are the best of the best. I don't give a fuck what they do. I'm going to do what I do, and I'm still going to fucking beat them.
Yeah.
And so for me, it never mattered. But I think there are a lot of people like, well, they're on drugs. I go, you're just making an excuse because you aren't that good. Like, learn how to train better.
And I mean, and the thing about the drugs too is like, monitor your hormones and maintain them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 50 years old. I'm like Sally O'Malley on Saturday Night Live, right? I'm 50. I can still kick, hit, and kick. Like, I'm gonna do what I need to do so that I can continue this quality of life.
Yes.
And I don't feel guilty about it at all.
Yeah. And you shouldn't. It's a choice. And it's powerlifting. Yeah. It's great. If you want to do tested, then do tested. If you don't, then don't. Like, who cares?
And if I'm not natural, I'm not going to do a tested meet.
Yeah.
Because I see that too.
Yeah, that's one that baffles me.
Yeah, I know last year you were not natural.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting. And I think there really is no level playing field anyway.
No, there's not.
Not.
I was laughing about they changed the ruling on that girl that did that bench press that was like, I don't know, 2 inches or something like that.
No, I didn't see it.
And yeah, there's in the IPF. And so now there's a rule like your upper arm has to go below your back, some shit like that. And people ask me about it, and I go, she's built the way she's built. Take every advantage of it.
Was her grip super duper wide?
Yeah, super wide. Yeah, like, and she had a huge arch.
Okay.
And I'm like, so she's a 3 lifter anyway. So like every advantage she gets in the deadlift or in the bench is going to get taken away in the deadlifts.
That's true.
And now people are like, well, what do you think? I go, well, if you're going to judge the length of the bench press, then you need to judge the length of the squat, and you need to judge the length of the deadlift.
Yep.
Like, the world is not fair. Okay.
Nope.
Like, take advantage of what you have, play the hand you were dealt the best you can. I mean, by that thing, I should go, listen, I'm only going to get an hour of sleep every night before the meet. So everyone else should have to only get 1 hour of sleep. I mean, if we're going to make it fair.
That's a great analogy. And some people got really fucking long limbs.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm built like an Oompa Loompa. I'm the same height when I sit as when I stand. My legs are 24 inches long. I'm built to squat, right?
Yeah.
I'm definitely built to squat. And apparently my bench is good, so I guess my arms are short. I don't know. I'm flat back, so I don't know why I've got strong triceps. That's why
you bench flat backed.
I do. Pretty flat.
Because you don't want to arch? Don't like to arch?
It just doesn't arch that much.
You can stretch.
I just don't arch that ball. I mean, there's an arch, but not like
I'm like, if I could make my movement 1 inch, I would.
Yeah, but I can't. Well, you know what though? The thing that hurts me the most on bench is my low back. So if I get
So if
crazy
you arch more and really force it, it's going to bother your back even more.
it's gonna screw me up. So
yeah, that's where it's like
I use my back and triceps.
Stop worrying about what everyone else has. Do your best.
That's it.
And I've seen people, like I had one of my training partners when we started, he was 6'2", 189 pounds. The first time Dave looked at him from head, toe, back to head and goes, you need to be over 300 pounds. And Scott's like, what? Are you, how the hell? So I eventually got him.
Smoke some cheeseburgers and drink them. Oh,
I eventually got him up to 320 at 6'2". But he had huge, long arms. And he ended up benching over 700 pounds.
Wow.
And he always, over 300? Yeah, he's always like, I'm not going to bench good. My arms are long. I go, shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck how long your arms are. We're getting your bench up, period. And I'm like, he never thought he'd bench 6, and he ended up benching over 7. I'm like, just shut the fuck up and do it. Just figure out a way around it.
Yep.
You're born with what you're born with. Deal with it.
That is it, and that's all.
So do you like powerlifting or bodybuilding better?
As far as training or competing?
After I asked you the question, that's the first thing that popped into my head. It's like, she's going to say something about that.
I have an answer for each. Actually, I would probably say powerlifting. I would have to say powerlifting.
I heard an interesting thing the other day, and I think it might have been Menser. He's like, you know what bodybuilders don't understand is bodybuilding training is essentially strength training, but you're going to get bigger.
Well, yeah, because you have to.
And I went, really? Bodybuilding and powerlifting aren't that different?
No,
I mean,
not.
essentially.
And that's why bodybuilders that think they're going to fucking grow and be the best they're going to be on a bunch of fucking machines annoy the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. First of all 6 of the last shows that I did here in this garage without a single machine, not one. I used barbells and bands.
Look at a lot of the biggest bodybuilders out there. They're all doing the main movements with free weights.
Dorian did the main movements. Mm-hmm. Meadows was doing the main movements. Jason Huz doing the same. You know, the big guy, the bigger people. If that's who you want to be, I know that's who I want to be.
Yeah.
You have to do those things.
Yeah. And
not super light either. Not 10. 5 sets of 10.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go heavy. You have to hit 65 to 75% of whatever your maximum output is, or you're not going to get the stimulation to get as big as you can.
Yep.
That's it. It's simple. It's math. But they don't want to do it because they're lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Bodybuilders are lazy.
Which is a good thing. I mean, that's a good thing, though. I think powerlifters could learn from being a little more lazy.
Probably.
The ones that continually beat the crap out of it. I'm so sick of seeing guys that are taped up or they can't bench without sleeves. And it's like, dude, if you're so beat up, you can't walk in and lift. You need more time off.
Yeah.
And I love all the modality stuff. Like I love tempering and stretching and magnesium gel and RPR and all that shit is cool to me. But if you need that every time you train, you're overdoing it. Like that stuff wasn't designed to get you through training. That stuff's designed to help you heal faster.
Yeah. Actually, when I got sick, both of these, actually when I got sick where they thought I had the cancer and all that stuff, for 4 months, I did nothing but body tempering. I didn't train at all. I couldn't.
So you probably beat yourself up so bad, it took 4 months to start feeling better. So you overtrained 4 months worth of, which mentally is that's actually kind of cool that you can push yourself that far, but it's dumb that you did push yourself that far.
It probably cost me some relationships.
Oh, definitely. I guarantee that. I've talked to, my goal in life right now is to turn the strength and bodybuilding world upside down. and to eliminate meathead mentality. Like, we're still athletes. Let's be smart about what we do, and let's be intelligent about what we do. And I'm so, it makes me so sad and so angry watching people push themselves into depression, and watching them lose relationships, and watching them go through all of this crap when they claim that it's needed or they have to do it in order to reach their goal, when it's like, no, you don't. You don't need to do this. You don't need to push yourself here. Like,
it's disordered. It's disordered thinking, and it's addiction.
I mean, it's accepted in the world of strength that you're going to be mentally screwed up going into the meet. I even one of the strongest raw dudes right now did an interview, and he's like, yeah, I'm crying at commercials and shit before the meet, and I'm going, you're fucked up. Any other athlete in the world wants to go to the compete with their brain prime, 100% raring to go. Strength athletes want to go to the competition being beat up, being mentally screwed up, and then after the meet, everybody's like, oh yeah, well, it's after the meet. I'm going to be fucked up for this amount of time. I'm going to deal with depression. Like, what? You're fucking honestly telling me that you believe you need to do this to perform your best?
Yeah.
Like, that is completely and utterly illogical.
Yeah.
Yet it's the given.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I've seen people at meets, people train to meets and they feel too good and it scares them.
Yes, I've experienced that. And
that's
actually
crazy.
My last meet, I could have trained after the meet. I could have. It was in February. It was like my first time back, and I didn't even really train a whole lot before I even did it. I just wanted to get on a platform. I don't even remember what my numbers were. I didn't even touch my own numbers. And it was actually a lot of fun. It was just to kind of just do the best I could that day.
Yeah.
And walk away completely unscathed.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
I mean, if you train and peak for that competition, you should be sore the next couple days. It shouldn't completely blow you out. If it blew you out, like, your body should be set up to handle a competition and not be that beat up afterwards.
Oh no, I've definitely done meets where afterwards, I actually went to so I did I don't know, like 2 or 3 meets, and I qualified for the tribute in San Antonio. After that, I was so fucking beat up that I remember I went to the gym like a week later. I was shaking, looking at the bar to squat. I couldn't even warm up. I left. That's how beat up I was. I was afraid to get under the bar.
After meets, I would be messed up for at least 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And your body should not be, if that's happening, you're not pushing yourself that hard in one meet. You've already blown your body up and you went into it in a hole already, and you just pushed it even deeper.
Yep.
All right. I know you got some stuff to do.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
And this is a ton of fun, and there's so many other things. I actually wanted to get more into the depression and mental side of it. So if you'd be willing to be on again, I would love to have you on again. I think there's so much more we can talk about. I think our paths were kind of similar, and I think we're learning similar stuff, and it's just fun. I like your background of bodybuilding to powerlifting, and I think that's awesome.
Which is great that we're still learning at this stage in the game.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, we know, we've been here for a long time, whatever, but we don't know shit.
Yeah.
There's still always something to learn. There's still, and if we've been doing this for 30 years or 20 some years, and we're sitting here saying to each other, we still have things to learn. Let's learn from each other. These kids that think they know everything after competing for 5 years definitely do not know shit.
They're not even close. Not even close.
No. All right. So you let me know, and we will get together again soon.
Thank you. Right. If people want to follow you, what is your Instagram, or what social media do you have, or that kind of stuff?
IFBB Pro and Sheehan on both Instagram, and what's the other one? TikTok.
See, I don't even have a TikTok. I'm so bad at all this other and the other aspect of
I,
it.
you know,
I'm just proud of myself for figuring out how to do a podcast and actually put it online.
I mean, like, it took me a half hour to get my Zoom set up. So you're definitely one-upping me on the technology field. You're definitely doing better than me there.
And thanks for being on. This was so great. I had such a good time. And
me too. Definitely, we'll do it again soon.
I look forward to having you on again. And everybody that's listening, I hope you enjoy this one and let me know. And if you have questions when we get her on again, I can get some of those answered. But until next time.
Yep. All right, Chad. Thanks. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Courage Barbell Unlimited podcast.
Is it off?
For more information, please visit couragebarbell.com. Until next time.